Hey everybody, how we all doing? It's been a wee while for I've seen yous, hasn't it? It's been a couple of weeks. So sorry I wasn't here last week. But yeah, how is everybody? Let's see who's here. We've got Simon from the Hermit's Cave. Hi Simon. Um, Lovely Sandra from the Whispering Well. We've got Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot. Hi Deanne. And Lily Valley. Sorry, that L's are a letter that I tend to struggle with if there's a lot of them in close proximity. So Lily, I struggle a wee bit with your name if I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying. Um, this, at my grand's funeral mass, I actually did two readings. I did the readings, I had the vigil mass, which is the night before, and then I did the responsorial psalm at the funeral. And there was something, it was the response and on the main day. It was really long, and there was like Land of the Living was at the end of it. So I was like, oh no. So I was like, I know what I'm like. I'm going to struggle to say that, but thankfully I got on okay. And like the good thing about being the person doing the reading is that you don't have to do the response; everybody else does. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, Lily. But it's lovely to see you. Hope not to sleep before the end. That's right. You're an hour or a couple of hours ahead of me. Are you in France, Lily? So does that mean you'll be about an hour ahead of me? Is that right? We've got Debbie from Aquarius Owl. Hi, Debbie. Robin from Toadstool Tarot. Well, what do you know? It's Thursday. Hello, Chris and everybody. Hi, Robin. Hope you're doing okay. Um, yeah, I think that's me at the bottom of the chat. A nice wee quiet crowd today. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing all right. Simon says a bit Llewellyn as a nightmare. Do you know, I was having a think about that. So see, so there's a town in Wales, and I'm going to spell it. So I've typed it into the chat. Looks like Llangollen, but it's actually pronounced Llangollen. So see the double L, it makes this chl sound in Welsh. So I don't know whether Llewellyn should actually be Llywelyn. Do you know what I mean? It would be interesting to speak to someone who is from Wales and ask them. None of my watchers are from, like, none of you guys are Welsh, are you? I don't think I'm aware of anyone in Wales who watches. Although I do know that, so there's somebody that I've spoken to on Instagram. Uh, his name's Quentin Starr. He's from Wales, and he's like a tarot reader and stuff. So I could ask him. Anyway, yeah. Oh, Simon's saying, yeah, it should. Oh, there you go then. Llywelyn. Um, my friend Adam is in Wales. Right, okay. Okay. I know Deanne's saying I can say that though. I know it's weird, isn't it? Robin says sumptuous Debbie, salted caramel, buttercream frosting, and butterscotch pudding filling. It would melt in my mouth. Is that what Debbie's having? Um, Llewellyn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It does sound a wee bit like that. Only it's not quite. I don't think it's quite a hard C like clue. It's more like. Do you know what I mean? So, as if you're trying to clear your throat. It sounds disgusting. It sounds like you're trying to clear your throat, but it's that kind of Llewellyn. Anyway, says me. I'm not Welsh. I don't know. I only kind of I suppose that because I had to. I had a client. In the town name Llywelyn was Llangollen was in their name, and I thought I need to look up how to pronounce this properly before I phone them up. I don't want to like phone them up and not know how to pronounce it, you know. Um, Deanne says, sounds amazing, Robin. I had a Boston cream donut today and thought of you. You've leveled up though. Also, it's Robin that's having that. Very nice. What's everybody drinking? I've got a can of Iron Brew today. It's not very often I've got that at the the Banter and Chit Chat lives, my Thursday lives. But yeah, I just fancy the wee Iron Brew. Oh, there's Ange. Hi, Ange. How are you? Has anybody else popped in that I've not said hi to? Don't think so. We're quite quiet today, but that's all right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so what was I going to chat about? I got some new decks in the post, some Kickstarter decks. So these are my first Kickstarters. Um, so I thought I would kind of just show you them, and we can have a bit of a chat about what you guys have received, and then I'm going to be using one of them to do the readings in the second part of the live. So yeah, Ange says, I'm great, thanks. Nice to be here, Chris. Well, it's lovely to have you here. Hope you're doing okay. Tanya, hi Tanya. How are you doing? So yeah, in the order that I backed them, the first one that I've ever backed that was successful, I should add, because I backed the Jens Freeburg's deck. What's it called again? Purgatorium. Backed that the first time round, and it didn't make the target. But yeah, so Chakra Healing Tarot by our very lovely Malamir Logan. It's finally come in the post. So I'll probably be doing a proper walkthrough. Justin, I almost forgot about your live. How fucking rude. Kidding on. That's all right. Hope you're doing all right, Justin. In fact, we'll switch it down. It's probably easier for me to show you the table down. And what one do we want? Racing cards. That'll do the now. Shift that out the way. So yeah, this was the first one that I backed. It comes and it's the same kind of box as the Shimmering Veil. So it opens like that. And yeah, it's lovely, nice and hard. Nice and hard, nice and durable, I think is the word that I'm looking for. It's got an amazing guidebook. It is kind of the same size as the cards, but it's pretty meaty, and lots of juicy information in there. As you can kind of see. There is there are then the cards. Now I have I'm forgetting my words tonight. What do you call it? Like a copy of I have a copy of this, but like an early copy of it. Can't remember what the word is. Wow. But she's kind of changed the colouring, I think, because some of the cards were pretty dark and it was difficult. Well, not difficult, but it was a bit more of a challenge to see what was going on in them. And also, in some of the kind of first cards, the chakra points that had been highlighted were off, were wrong. So that's all been sorted. These are the backs, by the way, which are lovely. So yeah, this has come and it's beautiful matte cardstock. So it is. It's not glossy at all. Nice and durable. Try to think what I would compare it to. I'm not really sure. But yeah, you can see it does have a bit of a shine. You can see depending on how I'm holding it to the light. Prototype. Yep, Sandra, that's the one. Thank you. So yeah, excited to have this, and I'm even more excited to work with it. Even though I've kind of used my prototype deck quite a lot, I'm still excited to to have the final copy. Look at that tower card. Isn't that beautiful? I love the way that through the crack in the tower you can see this kind of clear blue cloudy sky, this beautiful sky. So the idea is that, obviously the tower being brought down is a painful process, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, you know. Um, so yeah. And this is, for those who haven't seen it, there's a live that I did with Malamir where we walked through it together. I'll probably do another live. No, no, ignore me. I'm not doing a live. I'll probably do a walkthrough just of the deck, just of me walking through the deck. That's the final deck. Um, uh, but yeah, for those that haven't seen it, it follows the Smithway system mostly. Except there's like obviously the added elements of like the chakra points, and it's pretty cool because like in all of the wands cards, you're going through these kind of a crystal caves. See that? So it's like this journey through the cave almost. The Ten of Wands. And each of the suits has its own its own environment that you're kind of journeying through. There's Richard. He says, hello, Taro Lovelies. Hello, Mr. Chris, you handsome tart with treat. Oh, hello, Richard, you handsome bastard. So yeah, I'm very excited to have this. I'm excited to have the guidebook because that's one thing I didn't really have before. I only had a small extract from it to help me out with kind of the chakras and stuff like that, because at that point, this was when I wasn't really all that clued up on the chakras or what they meant or anything. But I like to think that I'm a bit more in the know now. Look at the Nine of Swords. I love this Nine of Swords because it's not necessarily a really depressing, horrible card. You can definitely see opportunity in that card. That opportunity to use that high intellectual energy. 10. Anyway, I'm just going through them here, aren't I? But yeah, that was the first one that I got. So has anybody else got this coming? And are you excited for it? Oh, like it's our very own Alex from Lazy Genius Tarot and Bazaar. Well, hello, Alex, you delicious piece of man meat. And I can say that now because YouTube could probably delete me, let's be fair. But they can delete my comments a lot easier than they can stop me from speaking. Every time I say hello to Alex and Deanne's chat, it usually is. That's what I usually see, isn't it? My comments get deleted. Apparently, they're a bit too raunchy. Can't imagine why. But yeah. So what is people saying? Because I wasn't really keeping up with the chat there, was I? That was when Justin came in. Love new decks, says Sandra. Simon says, oh, mine arrived at my mum's today. The Chakra Healing Tarot, Simon. I didn't know that you'd backed that. That's cool. I'm excited to. If it is, if that's what you're talking about, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on it. Must receive gentle last purchase there. So you're excited to receive the gentle tarot, Lily? Sorry, I don't know why it took me so long to process your sentence there. My head's a wee bit in the clouds. Moon Baby is arriving tomorrow, says Ange. Well, funny you say that because that is the next one that I was going to talk about. Tanya got my copy of the Healing Waves Tarot last week from Indiegogo. Still a few more Kickstarters on order too. That's interesting. Do you know, it's funny you say that. Is anybody else waiting on... Sorry, I'll switch this back to my face. Is anybody else waiting on the second new choice, Tabs of Marseille? And does anybody know kind of when we're expecting to start like hearing about receiving it. Because I was thinking about this just this morning, and I went on, and I'm sure I backed it at some point in May, and it said that it would be 2 months, and then they would start by getting shipped. But I think that was like shipped to Ross, who would then be shipping them out to the backers. But yeah, does anybody know any information about that? I'm just interested because I've backed it and I'm excited to get my copy of it. Deanne received your Chakra Healing Tarot a couple of weeks ago, maybe just a week ago. Excited to dig into it. That's amazing. I mentioned it. Oh, you did. You did. As soon as you said that, Simon, you did. Because she got in touch with you, didn't she? Yeah, I remember it now. Now that you've said it, it's all come back to me. But anyway, the only deck I'm waiting on is Spirit Keepers. I didn't go for that in the end, neither I did. I'm probably going to regret it, but I made the call, the judgment call, knowing full well that I was going to regret it. But it's all good. I'm going to close down Facebook just now because that's going to keep doing that. Let's see. I have two. Oh, geez, you have two original gangsters. So you didn't, but would love to see comparisons. Cool. See, I don't have the first. I'll only have the second when it comes. So I wouldn't be able to do a comparison, but I'm sure there will be people that. Justin, are you getting the second run of the new choice? I can't remember if you told me you were or not, but I know that you've got the first edition. Now that Brant's deck came, the only thing I'm waiting on is the Alleyman. Not heard of that. Almost ordered a backup, but passed. Oh, fair enough. Alex says, "What's up, Simon? How the fuck you been?" Yeah, can't wait for my Spirit Keeper Tarot to come in, says Tanya. I do that all the time, Chris. I take it that was with the forgetting and then one small thing triggering. Yeah, I'm terrible for it, to be honest with you. Deanne says, Chris, you've heard of Allymans. Why can I not say it? Allymans is the giant mixed deck. I have I? I take it that means that you've told me about it and I've forgotten. And I've just been caught red-handed for forgetting what you told me. I can't remember. Yeah. Justin has a bunch of Kickstarters. Crazy time of year, new academic year. Yeah, you'll be busy, won't you? Deanne is waiting on Spirit Keepers, Allymans, and some Magic Oracle something or other. So I'm waiting on the second edition of the new choice, Tarot de Marseille, and I'm also waiting on the Orphic Tarot. That kind of a black, white, and red Greek tarot deck that I am so excited for because I love like Greek mythology. I love it. And this has got like, and you know, I kind of know the Greek alphabet. We used it in uni, like you use it in maths. And so I'd just over the years I've kind of gotten to know what what all the letters are. And I'm starting to kind of do that with the Hebrew alphabet, and that's because of tarot and the associations that it has. But yeah, I can't wait for that deck. That'll be really exciting. And then there's some on Amazon that I've pre-ordered. So the Macabre Tarot, that'll be exciting. And the Disney Villains are decks that'll be coming to me. Where did I leave off? So that yeah. So then Debbie bought the Darkwood Tarot over the weekend to tie me over. Richie says, to be honest, so much hassle with back in Europe Kickstarters. I haven't looked recently. Waiting on so many to come in still. I have just 2 Kickstarters that I'm waiting for, says Sandra, and that's all this year. Oh, good for you. Prayers for Europe Kickstarter, says Justin. Deanne says yes, because I complained to you that people were hating on it. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's ringing a bell now. No, I think you're just going to have to give me some good, a bit of grace this evening, guys, because I'm kind of forgetting lots of things. There's Tangy, Tantastic. Hello, how are you doing? Boop. Isn't it a mismatch of lots of other decks too, Deanne? Says Simon. Waiting for JS Moore's new deck, Twilight of the Gods. Nice. Seed and Sickle Oracle to release from Liminal 11, says Tanya. Very nice. And Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot says lots from existing decks and some by the curator. 7. Recently heard Sullivan Hissman is doing a Noble. That's the next one I'm waiting on coming out. That'll be cool. I don't think I've not actually got a Noble. Do you know that? It was that Noble is the one that was the very first, or as far back as we can see, it would have been the first, isn't it? Like Type 0, Tarot de Marseille, it's sometimes called. I don't think that's one that I've actually got, which is interesting. Not for any particular reason, I should add. Rainy, gloomy day here, says Wild Rose. That's a shame. It's lovely to see you as well, though. Wild Rose Tarot and Healing, going to remind me what your first name is, if you want me to say it on YouTube, that is. If not, then I'm happy just to call you Wild Rose, but remind me what your name is. It was a long time ago, and I don't expect you to remember it, says Diane. It wouldn't have to be a long time ago. Jeez. Me and Simon were talking about that just the other day, and I've forgotten, so. Yeah, Type 0, yeah, so I'm not making that up. Wonderfully nested with soup and tea, because why not? How are you doing, Chris? Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm doing okay. I'm actually just not long after my dinner. I wolfed down my dinner in time to come up and sort the live and stuff. I had chili and potato wedges that I'd made from scratch. I make a lot of my meal. Well, me and Sandy. Usually Sandy does the cooking, but we make a lot of meals from scratch because it means that we can make sure that we're making it healthy, So yeah, I had a lovely dinner. Seed and Sickle looks nice. Simon has Fleur Noise Noble. It's cute. Cool. It was your video that made me want it, says Tanya. Type 0 is not an official term. Not to be a nerd. Type 1 and Type 2 are problematic terms for me now. Yeah, you are being a nerd. You're being a geek. Let's call a spade a spade. We need to all call it Type 0 now. Just to annoy him. No, I'm kidding. I'm just being a dick. Sandra's got the Noble now as well. That's Masha that calls them Type 0. Well, if Masha says it, then it must be true. So, Alex, you've got the Fleur Noire and Patterson Nobles. Fleur Noire makes great decks. Or Peterson. Tarot Stash, popping in for a quick hello. Howdy. Hi, Gerald. How are you doing? It's nice to see you. Oh, see, before I forget, and whilst I've got quite a few people here, next week I'll need to check in with her to make sure that it's all still going ahead. But next week I've got the lovely Orshi from Dragorshi Tarot on. We're going to do a round table reading together. So definitely check that out next week if you're about. It'll be good fun. Not decided what deck I'm going to read with yet, mind you. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I do need to message Orshi though and just make sure because it was like a month ago that we we put it in the diary. So I just like to check. Chris, do you and Sandy take your meals at the table or food on the go? So, Robin, do you know we should eat our meals at the table? We have got a massive dinner table that sits 6 people, um, but we don't ever use it. It literally gathers dust, and it's a glass table, so it's one of those ones that looks horrible when it gets the slightest bit dusty. So it's the absolute bane of my life. But we actually did use it a couple of weeks ago, and we had friends of Sandy's round for dinner. Um, and yeah, we used the table to its full capacity, and that was very exciting. But yeah, we normally eat our dinner sitting on the couch. We have our dinner on our lap, watching the telly. So yeah, um, Justin says she's spreading misinformation. Let's see. So Gerald says, howdy, Tanji. I'm working on my bibliomancy books. I'm up to 3 now. That's exciting. Um, welcome to the book club, Robin. Justin, Masha with the fake news. No, if Masha says it, then it's very much true news. Masha has the power to define terms. So if Masha calls it type zero, then that is what it is. Um, I'll stick up for her since she's not here. Kristen's here. I can see people saying hi. Oh, there she is. Hiya. How you doing, Kristen? You all right? Yeah. So the next, and the other one that I got was the Moonbaby Tarot. So first of all, I'll show you the spread cloth that it came with. Um, so it's this kind of blue and pinky colour. It's really nice. Um, I've not. This is where I'm going to sound like a weirdo. I'll sound like my gran. I've not ironed it, so I'm not going to use it as a spread cloth right now because the creases will just annoy me. So I'll need to iron that, and then I'll be able to use it. Yeah, I'm weird like that. I'm not ironing anything else. I don't iron any of my clothes, but spread cloth. Oh my, that needs to be ironed. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it, Simon? What colours did you get? Did you get a kind of orange and a pink one, if I remember correctly? Um, Tangy, the reading you gave me the other night, you mentioned possible problems with a pet. One of my little guys has been limping around all day. Oh no, that's a wee shame. I hope they're all right. Um, Regina, hi Regina, working and listening as usual. Brant really put a lot of extra work into all those tie-dyes. Yeah, they're really cool, aren't they? I might see if it's still possible to get them in Baby Taro, says Sandra. Yeah, so let me switch it back down. Let's see, back to facing cards. So this is the deck that comes in a two-part box, so it lifts off like that, and it's a nice one that does lift off easily. In fact, you can just kind of hold it by the lid and let it kind of slowly slide. Um, there's some decks that I've got recently. Um, the Arthurian Tarot, Arthurian Tarot. That is murder to get off. That is really difficult. And there's another one as well, the Celtic Lenormand, I think. That's a two-part box. Well, it's actually okay now because I actually leave it kind of slightly undone. But see if you push that all the way in, it's quite difficult to get it apart. But yeah, this comes apart nice and easy. You've got your kind of a wee pamphlet type guidebook, which is pretty cool. Again, I'll do a proper walkthrough of this. So I've got number 63 out of 1,000, and it's signed by the lovely Brant Palazzo. And yeah, I've then got the cards. And I've been noticing bits and bobs on the cards as I've been going. So, for example, I've got this deck. It's just the the plaid backs, but I've put the minors in order at least because I kind of ran out of time, to be honest. Because I wanted to compare the courts. I'm noticing some differences, or at least one difference, and I think maybe more, in the court cards. And I thought it'd be quite cool to compare them. So I'll just do that live just now, if you want. So let me just take out my court cards. Oops. Talk amongst yourselves. I keep putting them face down. FS, man. Right. So that's all my courts on that deck. And I will, I'll zoom in this way because I find that the camera focus is better when I zoom in using the Droid Cam thing rather than like stretching it on OBS. Oh, you're right. The slightly different order here. 10. So that's swords. Cardstock's lovely. It's dead papery sound, and it makes that. You hear that? Cups. 10. The wands. I don't know why I'm being particular about how I'm placing these down because I'm going to be shuffling them to read with them anyway. There you go there. And then there are the pentacles. Right, we're in business. So size comparison, finding that's difficult. So I think they're like a hair taller and a hair broader. The backs, these are the two backs. So this is the back from the, where's that, the strength card? What am I doing with the strength card? Oh, these are the extra strength and justice cards. Oh, geez, well, I'm not doing too well, am I? King of Pentacles. So yeah, these were the backs from the original hoi polloi that this was based on, but it's been recoloured by Brant, and really nice. Why do I not have a? What is happening? Why do I not have a? There it's there. Whew, right, we're all right. We're doing good. Right, let me see if I'm missing comments. So Simon said yes, please. I think that was in relation to me comparing, but if not, it's happening anyway. So excited to get this, says Kimberly. Practically need a crowbar, says Robin. That's for some of the boxes, yeah. Sandra, I haven't heard back from the person I thought I might gift my extra to. Oh, sorry, Deanne says this. You're saying this too, Sandra, right? Okay. But even if they say no, you know how much luck I have with sending things to you. Yeah, that's true. I like the way Brant's cards are cut, says Justin. Yeah, they're done really well. Feels luscious. Yep. Just a bunch of hellos. Hi, Kimberly, by the way. I don't think I said hello to you. So we've got our 2 pages. Okay, so there's obviously a fair difference here. If you look at the hat, the kind of the embellishment on the top of the hat is totally different. Um, you can also see the wand, it's not just been relined or anything like that. It's been completely redrawn. You can tell by the kind of leaves and stuff, um, which is interesting. The mountains are different as well. There's 3 mountains in this one, only 2 here. So, I mean, we're probably going to see that then reflected throughout the whole deck. If we were to compare the whole deck, there would be differences like that. Um, I love, I love here. Can you see how the leaves kind of cut into the border? I don't know what it is, but I love it when decks do that. I, I just really, yeah, I really enjoy it when they do that. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Interesting that the horse has its head, the way it has its head pointing in the Knight of Wands. I mean, it does the same thing on both, but it's not really something that's ever jumped out at me before. Normally you'd expect a horse to have its head pointing in the direction that it's going. Um, so does this suggest the horse is turning around? Is our Knight of Wands turning around? Is he changing direction? Who knows? Um, Hoi Polloi was only loosely based on pixies, right? Okay. Small rounded corners are preferable. They have a square feel. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, when I saw the outline, Robin says, when I saw the outline on Moon Baby, I wanted to corner round it to match, but the pink edging would foil that idea. When I saw the outlines, so you wanted the corners to match the kind of the brown border, right? I've got you. Um, I got 2 copies of this deck. I haven't done my flip through because one copy is for Jeffrey's birthday, and I want it to be a surprise. Well, I hope he's not listening. Not very helpful, but I got slightly quieter there when I read that out. But I'm hoping that because you wrote it there, it's fine. It's fair game. Um, Queens, totally different facial structure. And you can see the crown's different. We're missing the cat in this one. There's no cat, no black cat. It's interesting. So, how do we read that then? How do we normally read the black cat and the Queen of Wands? Is the black cat a kind of a symbol of protection? Um, in which case, what does it mean to you that that's not there? That's quite interesting. See, I love looking at we silly things like this because I don't know. Sometimes I think they can be quite important. Just tidying up here. Yeah, the King's got a totally different. So they've taken. So this looks to me like hair. I've always looked at this as red hair. Um, on the normal King of Wands, or on the standard King of Wands, whatever you want to call it. But they've changed it here, and it's now like a kind of a part of his headpiece or whatever you call it. And the crown is totally different as well. Does everybody else see this as his hair? He's just like a red-headed person, or do you see this as some sort of cloth thing that he's wearing on his head? Um, so some of the images are quite different, says Simon. Uh, Wild Rose, did you tell me your first name? I know I asked, but I'm not sure. And I know I should know it because I'm pretty sure we met just recently, did we not? Michelle. Right, Michelle, got it. Um, so, like the horse is protecting himself, maybe. Where the heck are you taking me? Uh, Horses nod their heads down when they get excited. Maybe that's why. All right, okay, Kristen, that's cool. That's good to know. I read it as an auspicious little familiar, says Diane. That the black cat on the queen, yeah. Um, really like the colour scheme of this deck. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Happy when Brant told me he was going for small rounded corners. I like it. It's different, says Justin. Yeah, it is. It's nice. That I always use the smallest corner when I'm using the corner rounder, so I do prefer smaller corners. And plus, it means that if you fuck it up, you can always just use the bigger corner. Do you know what I mean? You can use the next size up. Of course, then it means you need to use that size in the whole deck, but you know what I mean. Who was it? Somebody said BRB phone call. It's there. It was Tanya. Thanks, Gerald. I've been on personal email this week. Yes, I see that as hair, says Kristen. So Kristen sees it as hair, Michelle sees it as hair, Sandra sees it as hair, Robin sees it as a headdress, okay. Justin says he's a ginge, he sees it as hair. Um, Actually, I don't know, but red hair for fire. Um, I see the horse is kicking up. It looks like textile fibre material to me, says Kathy. Um, when a horse kicks, its head goes down on the way down. Yes, you can always round them to your liking. Yeah. Yeah, no salamanders either. Oh, that seems to be gone. Anyway, this is pretty similar. We don't kind of the style of it that it has been redrawn. You can tell again with the facial structure and stuff. We don't have the birds actually. We're missing the birds, so we're maybe missing how do we read the birds then, like messages coming in the air. Um, and do you see here with this tree in the background, you kind of get the idea that there's a strong wind blowing in this direction against the page, and the page is kind of going against the wind. Whereas we don't get that here because we don't have the tree. We only have the kind of the clouds. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. Our two knights again. We're missing these trees. So that I should stress that I do believe that this is, the hoi polloi that took this detail out, years and years ago in the 70s when it was made. Um, Brant has recoloured the hoi polloi. As far as I'm aware, I don't know, I don't think he's removed any line work or anything. I know he has reworked them slightly, to make them fit the size that he wanted them to. But as far as I'm aware, like the trees being removed and stuff like that would have been, the hoi polloi company that made that deck. It wouldn't have been Brant. The horse looks a bit scared, doesn't it? It looks a bit like, geez, oh man, is he really going to make me go forward into this mess? Um, Queen of Swords. You can really make out the butterfly in her crown, and the way that Brant's coloured it, which is really nice. But again, missing those trees. I like this one. I don't mind the fewer details in the Moon Baby. Yeah, me neither. Some of this is stuff that I've never seen before. I'm only noticing now because I'm spotting the difference. Do you know that way? Hey Ben, how are you? Lovely to see you. The style is much more like an old cartoon or comic. Do you know, I'm holding these up, but I mean, you can kind of see them okay there, can't you? Um, so we don't have his throne, and the King of Swords, the throne is missing. See how the throne has the backrest here with all the kind of the detailing on it, whereas we don't have that in this king. So that's quite cool. We do have this very regal purple colour, which is nice. Never noticed the butterfly on the crown before, says Michelle. The king's red is polka dotted rather than the line texture here would have. Yeah, I guess. Onto our cups then. So we've got our 2 pages. And these are, detail wise, they're pretty similar. The headdress is the fish coming out of both cups with the waves in the background. Even the pattern on his tunic is the same, albeit coloured differently. The knight, the oddly proportioned knight. I don't know. I just feel as though his head's up, seems too big. Um, just looking to see what we've got here. So yeah, we've still got the kind of the valley type, the river and the mountains. We do lose these trees here, but yeah, and the horse is a bit different, isn't it? It's the horse's mane is really different. It's had a wee comb here, whereas here it's had a bit of a perm and it's been fluffed up. Um, Robin, I didn't notice until Kelly Bears walked through this morning how much Brant's colouring reminds me of another 70s deck, the Aquarian Tarot. Oh, okay. Aquarian's not one I've got, but I've seen it and I know what you mean actually. The Queen, right, this was what started it off for me. This is what made me want to do this because, we don't have our wee robot cup in the Queen's Cup, so the cup's been changed to just an open cup in the hoi polloi, and so therefore in the Moon Baby Tarot. Whereas here we have like a covered up cup. Um, so it's interesting. I normally associate the covering of the cup with kind of a protecting the emotions, um, that emotional stability, just keeping things, being that safe place. So we don't get that here in this Queen, which is interesting. It might even give a slightly different, I suppose it just depends on how the card hits you at the time. Depends how you read, I suppose. But yeah, for me, that could have a difference as to how I would read the card. Um, See, there's there's some of the detailing on the throne is different as well. Interesting. Ah, dear, I'm so thirsty. And the king. I suppose all that's different, and I'll say again, this is stuff that I'm only noticing now because I'm comparing. See the ship in the background here? And what is that? That looks like a sea monster. It looks like it should be a fish jumping out, but it's way too big, so I'm going to say sea monster. Um, this is such a cool thing to do because I'm noticing things that I had never noticed before. But yeah, that stuff's different, but aside from that, quite consistent. Some slight differences in the clothing and stuff. What do you guys think? Um, so in East Midlands we say duck, West Midlands they say bab. I always thought it was chuck. That's maybe more like Liverpool. Robin, that's how we greet people in the West Midlands. We say, "You alright, bab?" Tangi's back. Thought it was maybe like babe or baby. Rock your babby. Robin's volunteering to be Ben's tarot granny. That's a very kind offer. You really notice things when you draw them. Yeah, I bet. I bet you do this. Brant's deck looks like the king and queen are on rocks instead of water. More stable looking. Yeah, I suppose they are. Does kind of look like it's just kind of a almost like this Tim Burton style of drawing water. Kind of I see it in the Tarot Noir. Um, yeah, but I know what you mean. Angie's learning all the lingo. We have our page of pentacles and this cluster of trees that I've never noticed before in my puff. I'm now noticing it because it's missing from the Moon Baby or the Hoi Polloi. We still have the mountain in the background. The page himself seems more or less quite similar. But yeah, the landscape does appear to be different though, that he's standing on. And knights. Pretty similar, I think. They do seem quite similar. Again, just the landscape, I guess, has been changed. Um, Justin, Wolverhampton and Birmingham are the main ones that I know. What cities are in the Midlands? All right, okay. I think Chuck is Liverpool. I think this is a black, right? Okay. Chuck is Northwest, Chris, Manchester, and Liverpool. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember the first time somebody told me that in England they said they call people duck. I was thought that they were bamming me up. I thought um, I didn't believe them. So I'm a bit of a doubting Thomas that way. Can't go wrong with a pink horse. That's true. Queens. So we don't quite get the nature scene as much, but we do. She's surrounded by grapes, which is nice. It's nice if you like grapes. I'm not really much of a grape eater myself. But if you're a grape fan, then I'd imagine that this would be right up your street. Um, Yeah, like we've still got the headdress, it's more or less the same. Um, yeah, the landscape again. It's all it's mostly the landscape, isn't it? It's when there's something different about the figure themselves that I find it quite interesting, like the Queen's Cup. Um, and yeah, like I think there was the pages or the page of wands was different, wasn't it? And then lastly, the King of Pentacles. So what's nice about I always find this to be really busy, and it's kind of hard to see where the king ends and where the um where the garden starts, if you will. I suppose that might be kind of on purpose, but it just makes it difficult to make out some of the detail. And so see like this thing that he's got his head on, which turns out to be like an animal's head. It's really difficult to see unless you're really studying it closely. Um, but this just with its more kind of a simplistic um, landscape, it makes the detail a lot easier to make out. So it does. So yeah. So what do we think then? Another thing that the Moon Baby Tarot does is it gives two extra cards. It gives you the opportunity to have Justice as 8 and Strength as 11. Which, to be honest, leaves me with a bit of a dilemma. Because I, that I read quite, numerology is quite important to me when I'm reading cards. Um, and as far as numerology goes, it makes more sense for me to have Justice as 8 rather than Strength, because for me, the 8 is about momentum being created by a solid foundation, by, a stable base. So it's momentum, but it's stability at the same time. And to me, that is what a justice system is supposed to do. The justice system, um, it's a set of laws, isn't it? It's a set of axia, it's a set of laws that everyone abides by, and it basically lets the world get on. So it does that kind of what I would associate with the number 8. So from a numerology point of view, it makes sense to have justice at 8 and strength at 11. But from an astrological point of view, um, it makes sense to me to have strength at 8 and justice at 11, because then the zodiac signs are in order, the correspondences, with strength being Leo and justice being Libra. Um, Also, I like it just seems quite poetic to have justice at the center, at the very center of the major arcana, you know. Um, I like the idea that fairness and justice and balance is at the very center, at the very core of everything. So I think we'll leave it. Uh, oh gosh, strength, justice, 11. We'll leave it in the standard Smith weight order, but I can imagine that depending on how I'm feeling, I'm probably going to be chopping and changing that. What do you guys think about that? Is anybody using Justice 8 and Strength 11? What do we all think? I think I'm missing. I'm ignoring the chat, aren't I? So apologies. I'll go back just now and read it. You can go there. You can go there. If there's any other comparisons you just want to see, whilst I've got these in some vague kind of order, between the Moon Baby Tarot and the Rider-Waite-Smith plaid back copy, then let me know just now. Right, let me catch up. So this is where we're talking about Chuck in the Midlands. Been listening to, so Debbie says, I've been listening to MC Beaton Hamish Macbeth books on YouTube. I'm learning all kinds of Scottish Highland slang. God, you probably know more than me then, Debbie. Um, Quite a few, Justin, but in the main East Midlands is Nottingham, Derby, Leicestershire. No, that's just Leicester. And Lincoln. Justin, Wolverhampton and Birmingham are the main ones. I know West is Birmingham, Coventry, and Wolverhampton. It's funny to hear some of the towns because we have the same names for cities here. Yeah, you do, don't you? The pink horse reminds me of a peep. Now I want to eat a pink peep horse. What's peep? It's a peep show, Tange. Gimme sugar. Ben noticed that once looking at a map, Justin. What was saying? Noticed that once looking at a map, Justin. America have some of the same themed as out cities and towns. Sorry, Ben, you weren't here when I said my head's a wee bit mush today, so I'm a bit slow. So there's probably the tiniest wee spelling errors that I would normally just be able to read as normal and I wouldn't even think, but um, they're throwing me today. Um, the same names as our cities and towns, right? Okay, I've got you. It always made you smile when you were out there, Simon. As I said, that I got a call from Northampton, PA. I just received a notification from James Battersby of Tarot Collectibles that I am the winner of the Blacklight Tarot deck giveaway. I'm so excited. Oh, wow. That's amazing, Ange. Well done. Congrats. Oh, that's exciting. I look forward to seeing it. Um, Although our Boston doesn't measure up to your Boston. Um, Robin says that's astute, Chris. Where the king ends and the land begins. I'd never thought of that before. Yeah, I've always kind of felt that about the King of Pentacles and the Smithwaite. Um, Depending on what the colouring is, sometimes I'm trying to think if the universal way is different. But I just feel with a lot of colouring, it's really difficult to make out the difference. Um, Simon says I could only go with the RWS way for justice and strength. Right, okay. Um, Debbie Bell, it is in New England. Uh, Sadly, we do, Justin. Sometimes we put a new in front of it, though. I didn't know you had a Boston. Right. Philadelphia is a strange name, but apparently we have like 4 Philadelphias in the US. It's referred to as the armpit of England. Boston is. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was anything wrong with Boston. Um, Chat just jumped. Um, isn't Philadelphia based on something from Greek? Not based on the cheese. Oh, isn't Philadelphia named after our cream cheese? Says Simon. We were both on that same wavelength. Um, I think it's Greek, but the cream cheese is the best. Do you know what I love? See if you this is a really nice dinner hint. Um, you take chicken and fillet it. So take like a chicken breast and you fillet it. So you're kind of cutting it open, so it's got a pocket, and spread your Philadelphia cream cheese inside. If you get the garlic and herb ones, that's really nice. And if you're like me and you're on Slimming World, you can get one of the Philadelphia Light. Spread that inside and then wrap it in bacon and cook it for about 20-25 minutes in the oven at 200 degrees. It is delicious. Really, really nice. So Tangi's using strength at 8 and justice is 11. Justin, what are you using? You just said you like both. Is that in relation to strength and justice? It's always irked me that the hoi polloi had justice as key 8. I think as the images follow the RWS, I would use the same order, says Robin. Always think of strength for 8. For the Lionsgate, Leo, August being the 8th month. Justice 11, strength 8. And the toilet paper roll goes over, says Ange. Long precedent and tarot for changing the order of the trumps as you see fit. I live in Derby Township. And we are done, says Simon. Shall we start? Can I put this here? Yeah. So if anybody wants a reading with the Moon Baby Tarot, then please pop your question in capitals and or tag me at Elemental Cartomancy in the chat so that I see it. So yes, I'm excited, Chris. Happy birthday to me. September 1st, Virgo, Hermit, Boop, says Ange. Oh, well, happy birthday to you. Wait, are we in September? Oh my goodness, we're in September. It's September. I can't believe it. I mean, I would have known. I knew the month had changed, but do you know that way it just hadn't. I've not said it out loud yet. So I didn't really fully realise. Wow. I suppose we're still in quarter 3, aren't we? We don't change to quarter 4 until October. Anyway. Robin's Virgo as well, isn't he? Robin, when's your birthday? It must be coming up soon. Oh, Simon, you're saying then wrap with bacon. Yeah, so nice, isn't it? Yeah, sounds nice, says Sandra. With RWS, jumping, Justin. With RWS, I go with strength. With RWS, I go with strength 11, since it's the centre of the deck. But RWS has justice at 11. Or are you meaning like with this deck, you'll put strength at 11? Question. What do you guys do if you buy a deck and then you realise it could be problematic? I have one I've had for 6 weeks now, and it's still in its wrapper. I suppose it would depend on the reason that it would be problematic, wouldn't it? If you think there's something about it that's just blatantly offensive, I suppose you would need to. There's no need here. There's no right and wrong, I suppose, is there? But if you'd bought one and there was something really that you weren't comfortable putting it out there, giving it airtime, then I suppose it would be a case of it's a decision of whether you want to pass it on or just keep it for your own private use. There's some decks there's one deck that I can think of that I don't really I don't really use. To be fair, I say I keep it for private use. I don't even use it at all. It's the Under the Roses Lenormand. Um, See, ever since I noticed that, it was Kelly for the Truth and Story that pointed it out, the snake card. She was talking about it initially because the snake card has a woman on it. And she was saying how she's not really keen on, Lenormand cards that are confusing like that, where there's a figure on the card. And then she pointed out that it's actually a Romany, like a gypsy woman that's on it. And the that system would interpret the snake card as like, dishonest and, that kind of it was basically a negative thing. See, since that, I don't know. I don't really find myself reaching for it anymore, and it's a shame because it is quite a nice deck, but I just don't know. I don't find myself reaching for it anymore. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Um, Justin, you said you would sell it. Are you getting the bad vibe? What will next week bring for me, please and thank you, Chris, says Ange. No worries. I'll need to give these a right good shuffle because they're all in order. So you need to bear with me whilst I do all my, my riffle shuffles. It's quite a nice riffler. Hey Jen, how are you doing? Tanji says, personally, I gift it to someone that the deck tells me to give it to. Happy birthday for yesterday, says Diane. Yeah, I think I got a wee bit sidetracked there with the fact that we were into September. Did I even say happy birthday? Happy birthday anyway. Sorry if I didn't. I've not even opened it, Ben. I mentioned it in a live that I was going to do a walkthrough, and someone told me that there was problems with the creator. And then when I researched into it, I didn't like what the organisation stood for. Oops. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? Robin says his birthday is on the 8th. That echoes a lemnis, the 8th. That echoes a lemniscate. Does that mean that I'll live forever? You never know, Robin. You might. Great entrance, Jen. Magical gnomes are immortal, says Tanja. I would let it go then, says Sandra. I still have that one to open. Oh, so it's not the labyrinth. Probably do what you're doing, Simon. Leave it in its wrapper and then wonder what the hell to do with it. Decisive. How are you doing, Jen? Feels I've not seen you in ages. I only caught the tail end of your live with Patrice and Vernetta and the creator of that Oracle deck. So yeah, I've been missing you. Been missing my weekly just my weekly catch up with you. What it feels like. So I hope you're doing okay. Tanji says you could always remove the card from the deck. Yeah, but then I wouldn't have a snake card in the deck. So yeah, you could still use. You can use them as house markers. Yeah, that's true. Right, I'm doing a reading for somebody here, aren't I? Let's not forget. Whoops. I think that should be good and shuffled now. So let me find the question that I'm reading for. What will next week bring for me, please, and thank you, Chris. Let's have a look. What will next week bring for our Ange? Let's see what we've got. Let's get big changes happening. Okay. So we've got the death card and the justice card coming up in close proximity here. So we've got major changes happening, but there's this kind of a advice card, if you will, that's to kind of just stick to what you know, stick within the system. This isn't, sometimes you'll get a card that comes up here and the advice is like, you really need to think outside the box and go off piste and, you know, like you need to go absolutely fucking bonkers, and in order to navigate these changes that are happening. But that is not what justice says to me. Justice, Libra, it's thinking about balance. It's stick with what you know. It's, just be sensible. Don't go to extremes. You know, just I mean, I suppose I'm dangerously veering on talking about temperance rather than justice, but they kind of like they do kind of a form together. I suppose justice is more like it's like that. What I was saying earlier, it's like a set of laws, it's a set of axioms, a set of rules that, if you're living within it, then it basically dictates how the world moves around. Don't just think of like the legal system. Think of things like the laws of gravity. You know, think of the natural laws and things within which we live. Um, that dictate if I throw a stone up in the air, then I better be watching out because it's coming back down. Cause and effect, that type of thing. So justice to me is saying, yeah, there's going to be big changes happening probably in the next week. There's certainly something that might be coming to an end or something that might be changing its form. But justice is, act within, without us being specific, because we don't specifically know what the changes are that are going to be happening. It's kind of a difficult to then give specific advice, but it just seems to be act rational, be balanced. You act within the kind of the rules that are set out for you, if that in any way makes sense. Now, coming in at the end there, we've got the Ace of Cups. So whatever it is that's coming to an end, it's going to let you spend a wee bit of time on yourself, some self-care, some self-love. It might even open you up to just open your heart in general and be able to connect with other people. To me, this is all about the opening of the heart. And whether that is so that you can pay more attention to yourself or so that you can kind of connect with other people, time will tell. But we've got these quite harsh and quite big serious cards here, but then coming in here we've got a bit more, we're a bit more light-hearted, a bit more touchy-feely, a bit more, these aren't negative, but that just feels more positive, doesn't it? It feels happier. So what do you think, Ange? Does any of that make sense? Where are you? Justin says, I might shuffle both strengths and justices. Fair enough. It's one way to do it. That's one way to solve the problem. Stroking the bismuth. Oh, nice, Robin. Just take a hang. Yeah. It makes so much sense for what I'm facing. Thank you so much for the insight and guidance. Oh, that's good. I'm glad it makes sense. Something else that I'll say just on, looking at the cards and looking at what's jumping out at me, you know, think about facing the issue dead on. It's not, I wouldn't advise that you turn your back on it, because we see here, the whole point and what we see depicted and the people that we see depicted in the death card is the bishop is the one who is still standing right in front of death. He's the only one who's not on his knees in pain and, dread, suffering. And that's because he's facing him. He meets him head on and he accepts his fate, doesn't fear him. And Justice in the advice card, she's looking straight, or she, he, they're looking straight out at us, like they're meeting us dead in the eye. So that's something else that I would say is that avoidance isn't going to be your friend in this. Whatever it is, you're going to have to tackle it head on. It's not a time for being smart and smarmy and thinking outside the box and coming up with some clever loophole. Um, it's a time to kind of just deal with the issue head on. That seems to be the best advice that you can get here. So yeah, I'm glad that it makes sense. Ben has to dash, but it was lovely spending time with you, lovely people. It's lovely to see you, Ben. I hope you're doing okay. We'll need to catch up soon. I like the idea of Justice being smack in the middle of the deck. Rachel made her Justice 11 in the Raziel Tarot for that reason. Justice being the centre of the Jewish faith. That's pretty cool. Were there any more questions, by the way? Because I've not, if there are, I've not seen them. So maybe retype them or someone bring them to my attention. But yeah, do you know what we could actually do? There's a nice wee spread. There's my book. What did I do? Oh, there it is. There's a nice wee spread that Brant's put together in the guidebook, so we could kind of just do it together if you want. It's this daily draw. I was going to do this in the when I did a walkthrough. I was going to pull cards for this spread, but I'll maybe just do my normal interview spread in the walkthrough. So this is it's a general spread, a daily draw he calls it, and it's general energy. What might you expect from your day? So that's number one. Card number two is embrace this. What aspect of this card could you use more of in your life? And number three, let go of this. What aspect of this card could you use less of in your life? So yeah, we could pull cards together. I can see. I think Tanji's just asked a question. What does this autumn hold in store for the world as a whole? Oh, geez. Okay, let's look and see then. So what does this autumn have in store for the world as a whole? Let's look and see. the thing that jumped out right away at me with the High Priestess was the passive nature of the High Priestess. Um, the High Priestess to me represents that kind of a air of mystery, that mysterious kind of a um, just when there's a right. So does anyone watch like old sleuth shows? See things like Poirot and things like Columbo. Well, I suppose not Columbo because it was different because you always knew who it was right at the start. But things like Poirot, Miss Marple, Midsummer Murders, all of these kind of things where it's like the mystery and then you find out at the end who the bad guy is. Um, do you know that way? Do you ever get to a point with them where it's like there's no point in me trying to guess who who the perpetrator is because there's so much that I just don't know, and the show is made in that way, so is that I don't know, and so is that it remains a mystery, you know. That's the way I've always felt about them, and I kind of feel like that about the High Priestess sometimes. She's such a mysterious character, and she guards the realm, that you've got the veil guarding what I would see as the realm of the moon, like the moon card. I think that's what's behind the High Priestess's veil. She guards that kind of unconscious realm. So there's so much mystery associated with all that that it's almost like there's no point in you trying to really understand what this person is thinking, what's going on with them, you know. And some depending on the situation, depending on what we're reading for, sometimes it's just downright irritating. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm like, I don't know if I'm like, right, what's up? Not that I don't really go to the cards for relationship stuff, right? But say I did, and I was like, what's going on with Sandy? There's something going on with him, and he won't tell me what's going on. And I get the High Priestess. That's when I'm like, oh, what's the point? He's not going to tell me. He's just going to keep it to himself. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of a feel from it. Obviously, there's so much more to the High Priestess, but that's the kind of a attribute that jumped right out at me at the start. So, what did you even ask me, Tanji? Um, what does this autumn hold in store for the world as a whole? So, yeah, very passive and very mysterious. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I don't really want things to be passive and mysterious. I want things to continue to open up, continue to grow, and continue to get better for the world as a whole. Um, I mean, the High Priestess is kind of saying, you'll just need to find out when you get there. Um, the advice is the Emperor. So to me, that's like keeping things in order. Do what you can in order to keep things in order. There's always the risk when we try and control things that are out with our control. We use up so much energy and there's really no point to it. We're kind of chasing our tails. But, there's stuff that we can control and there's stuff that we cannot that's out with our control. The Emperor kind of implores us to keep, uh, just keep everything in order, keep our affairs in order. The things that we can, that we do sway over, make sure that that everything is as good as it can be. The Four of Wands, I suppose, is quite a nice kind of outcome card. That's seems to be the direction that things are moving in. We're moving towards this stability, achievement. This validation. Even you could see this as a celebration of sorts. I know some of us see this as the kind of a wedding card. Um, so there could be something to celebrate in the autumn. So this could potentially be a really good reading, but the High Priestess, the whole mysteriousness of the High Priestess, I'm not really gelling with too well. What do you guys think? Um, could I have a reading using the spread in the book, but as a week ahead rather than a daily? Yeah, of course you can, Tanya. Excuse me, really, really thirsty. Oh, Justin, you heading off? That's you just finished work, eh? We'll have a safe journey home. Your intuition and guides do not lie. Listen to your inner guidance, says Ange. Murder She Wrote was good too, yeah. Angela Lansbury. She's such an enigma, says Robin. What were the three positions again? Oh, sorry, this wasn't the one in Brant's book. This was just situation, advice, and outcome for the month of sorry, for the season of autumn. Tanji says it makes sense. Robin's saying celebrate. Okay, so Tanya, could I have a reading using the spread and the book as a weekly reading? So let's have a look at that. So for the week ahead, it was, wasn't it? So a week ahead for the lovely Tanya. So we're going to be looking at the general reading, what to embrace and what to let go of. And this is for the week ahead for Tanya. Okay, so the general feel seems to be change, and quite often when we see the Wheel of Fortune come up, it's a positive change. It's a change in the positive direction. And what I would say is I don't tend to read reversals. Okay, like so the Wheel of Fortune, Fortuna, the goddess Fortuna serves no master. They serve, they don't serve order. They basically, it's chaos that they're interested in. There's no kind of fairness in it. Kind of like there's no fairness in luck, it's either good luck or, bad luck, and there's no kind of a real system to it. But as the general energy for the week ahead, I would say that this would represent positive change in in a positive direction for you. So if you feel as though you've maybe been down in your luck, if you feel as though you've had your fair share of time at the bottom of the wheel, then maybe things are going to start changing for you. But alternatively, Tanya, if you feel as though everything's going your way, things are great, then perhaps the next week might see that your fortune changing a wee bit. And we can do something. We can prepare ourselves for that. Whilst you are in the position of good luck, you can, like what I was saying earlier on about the Emperor, the things that you can influence and change, like deal with them. You know, if it's a financial situation that we're looking at, for example, we can put money aside, we can save some money so as that when our fortune does change, we have some savings to fall back on. It's that kind of a thing. But like I'd said, if you do find yourself in a less fortunate position right now, then maybe in the week ahead, things are going to start moving to a wee bit of a more positive place for you. Something to embrace is the Two of Cups. So this is, this is building relationships with someone else. This could, if you've got a partner, this could represent your partner. If not, it might be like a platonic type relationship. The Two of Cups isn't just about those romantic relationships. It really isn't. Two of Cups, it's about duality and partnership and the emotions, in the realm of those emotional connections. With other people. So we see that being built up. We see the caduceus and between the two and the kind of the alchemical lion, which is what the caduceus transforms into. Okay. So we see the relationship being built. First dates, or if we're talking platonic, then meetings and going for coffees and stuff like that, and just getting to know each other and all of that kind of a thing. So that's something to embrace, is get to know someone a wee bit more. What to let go of? We've got the Hierophant. So to me, this is like the school card. This is the teacher card. Okay. What do I want to say? So, is there something that you need to learn? Is there something that you're trying to further yourself in? If so, are you relying too much on someone else? Okay, so to use an example, if you're studying maths, maths probably isn't a very good example actually. If you're studying tarot, let's take tarot, right? If you're kind of trying to build up your skills reading cards, if you've been advised to let go of the Hierophant, what that would be saying to me is don't rely so much on what other people are telling you. Okay, so if the Hierophant comes up, and you don't know what it means, maybe you've got a tendency to go, oh right, I'll go onto YouTube and I'll see what such and such says that the Hierophant means, or I'll go to this book and I'll see what they say it means, and oh yeah, right, okay, Chris just said it's the school card, it's the teacher card, so that's it, that's what it will mean. That's to me that is Hierophant energy. It's the kind of a tradition, it's the passing down of knowledge from one person to another. If you're being asked to step away from that, to let go of that, then you're being asked to trust in yourself a bit more hermit energy, a bit more going within and finding the answers within, because everything that you need is within you. So stop relying so much on outside influences, on other people, on what other people are telling you, and just trust in yourself a wee bit more, is how I would read this card for you. So, what do we think? So yes, please. The Wheel of Fortune, my stalker at the moment. Okay, so potentially in quite a change in times. Eternally the student, I never have the confidence to feel I've learned what I need and can go my own way. Makes perfect sense, right? Okay. I mean, sometimes, you know, sometimes we can struggle and struggle and struggle because we can be perfectionists. And as much as being a perfectionist is good to a degree, but if you're not able to kind of draw that line and say, right, this is as good as I'm going to be able to get it with academic study. I really need to kind of break out and just go off on my own, or just sling some cards, do some readings for people. Go to like a pub and just do some readings, or go online and do a live and do some readings for people. If you're not able to get to that point, if you're trying to get it so perfect, then I mean, to me, especially with something like reading cards, it's never something that you're going to be able to get perfect without actually doing it, you know. So if trying to be perfect is stopping you from doing the thing itself, then you need to have a talk to yourself. But anyway, you are a perfectionist. Yeah. So I'm just using, reading tarot as an example there. So you can decide for yourself what this means for you. But yeah, that's how I would read those. So hope that was helpful. Robin, the card number 1 is the general energy. Has everybody got a deck on them? So whoever has it, if you've got a deck, then give it a shuffle, and why don't we pull that spread just for ourselves? I'm stealing the jelly method here. But why don't we try it out? And why don't we well, it's up to you guys how you read it. I might read it for the weekend. I'll do a wee reading for the weekend. But you could do it as a daily reading for tomorrow, or you could do it as a weekly reading for the next week. I'll do mine for the weekend ahead. So general reading for the weekend ahead. Okay, so card number 1. Let me just get this back in front of us. So card number 1 is the general energy. So this card gives you a general sense of how your day might be, or your weekend, or your week. It's important to remember that this isn't set in stone. You can make decisions that will affect how this card plays out in your day. If you pull a card that you aren't thrilled to see, ask yourself what you can do to change the way this card would traditionally affect your life. How can you turn this lemon into lemonade? Card number 1. So I'm getting the King of Cups. King of Cups is the general energy of my weekend. So this would suggest to me that to me, kings have to be responsible because people rely on them. And when we're talking cups, we're talking emotionally. Okay, so maybe I'm going to find myself being that emotional sounding board for someone. Maybe someone's going to kind of come to me for some advice because they're not really sure how they feel about something. Maybe I'm just going to have to find myself in a situation where I'm going to have to try and be emotionally mature, which is something that I can struggle with sometimes, especially when I'm emotionally vested in a situation. I can be, I can find it really difficult to, to control my emotions. I'm a thinker. I'm one of these people that has to. I need to force myself not to react to a situation right away. I need to come away and think about it, take a day or a couple of days, and then come back to it. So if something's happening that maybe something quite upsetting happens and involves me, quite often I need to kind of step back. So the King of Cups could just be remembering that about myself. Maybe something's going to come up and I'm going to have to take that sacred pause, that time away from the situation in order to come back to it with a clear head and not just react right away. Um, so what did you guys all get? So Robin got the Eight of Cups in position one. So the general energy, the Eight of Cups, what deck are you reading with, Robin, if I can ask? Because depending on the deck that you're reading with, the Eight of Cups could be all about, similar to what I was saying there with the King, it might be a time for you to be emotionally secure. Um, Maybe it's a time, as you're reading with the RWS, so maybe you're going to have to find yourself looking for something that's missing, going out on a journey. Um, Maybe not so much a literal journey, maybe more of a metaphorical journey. But to me, the Eight of Cups in the Smith Way is telling us that something's missing in our heart. That way the cups are arranged and they're not quite perfect. It's always you just want to move some of the cups and make it nice and even. Something's not quite right, and that person's away off on a journey to find what's missing. Um, so Tanji got the Nine of Cups for your general energy. Well, that sounds fan-dabby-rosy, Tanji. You've got the Nine of Cups as the general energy, and that's, to me, that's like, fulfillment and happiness. The wish card, if you will, you know. It suggests sometimes the Nine of Cups, depending on what deck you're reading with, can suggest a get together. But for me, at its core, it's about having a full heart. You know, it's about having everything that you need. And sometimes the reason it's the wish card is because right, you've got everything you need. Now you're going to get something you want, type thing. But very very nice card um, to have as your general energy for the weekend. Um, Tanya got the Two of Wands in position one. So okay, so a time for for me, Two of Wands is building your portal. It's about looking at the journey ahead and just kind of creating that space for yourself to be creative or to do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself out there. Okay, it's not saying it's time to jump out the door and say hello, this is me, I'm Tanya. It's time to create that space in order for you to do that. So if there's shit that you need to get done before you can make that step, then now is the time to get that done. If there's preparations that you need to do, then now's the time to prepare. That's what the Two of Wands would say to me. And Tanji's using the Super Lunaris Tarot. It's not one that I know off the top of my head. After what you just said to me, Chris, I got the Hermit for what to embrace. Oh wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Um, okay, so card number two is about what to embrace, and I've got the Six of Cups. Six of Cups. So maybe a bit of an emotional system reboot. Um, Six of Cups for me is about that. It's about kind of a gaining a harmony back in your emotions. In the five, it's like it's grief, it's bereavement, and that makes sense given what I've been through. My grand passing away, and the funeral was earlier this week. So to me, the weekend, what to embrace is just happy memories, and just, you know, I need to get myself back into a position where I can think about my gran and just be happy, because when you lose someone, it takes yourself. You need to give yourself time to get back to that space. There is a time period where when you think about that, it can be painful. So to me, the weekend is going to be just giving myself that space, I think. Um, so Robin, you said you got the Seven of Cups for what to embrace. So that's interesting. So Robin, do you see that as a card about choice, or do you see that as a card about illusion? Because I can see it both ways. Um, so yeah, Tanya, you were saying you got the Hermit, so believing in yourself. Um, Tanji got the Eight of Pentacles is what to embrace, so working hard. Doesn't look like you're getting much of a break this weekend, Tanji. So Robin, you see it as about choices. So embrace all of the amazing choices that you've got, I guess. Sometimes the Seven of Cups can be a bit like Netflix. You know how when you're not sure what to watch and you've got too much choice and you end up spending more time flicking through all your choices than you do actually enjoying one of them. So just embrace the gifts that you've been given, and try to actually enjoy them rather than spend too much time analysing. Um, I suppose you could see that. And yeah, let's see. And card number three is about what to let go of. Oh, the Ace of Pentacles for me. That's interesting. So some sort of financial opportunity, some sort of new potential energy, some sort of new opportunity, and maybe now it just isn't the right time. Try to think if that makes sense, if that applies to anything over the weekend. Or maybe it's just telling me I should stop spending money. That would make sense if that's what it's saying. What did you guys get? Robin, you got the Ace of Swords. Right, okay. So if the Ace of Swords is what not, what to let go of. What do you think that means? That's interesting. I suppose it could sometimes the Ace of Swords, the positive aspects of it for me are, thinking it in a new way, adopting a new beginner mindset that lets you tackle things in, new and different ways and lets you solve problems that you wouldn't necessarily have been able to solve before. Um, but on the other hand, sometimes that Ace of Swords energy, if it's in shadow, it can be quite, um, the Ace of Swords cuts through things, and that can sometimes be a good thing, but sometimes it's not such a good thing. Sometimes it can be, you can be blindly swinging that sword about and not really thinking much about what you're cutting through. Um, so maybe it's just, I don't know, communication. Let go of communication. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, it doesn't, does it? Um, maybe it's just the method in which, maybe you're going to be up against a situation this weekend, Robin, or if you are you reading for the weekend as well? Anyway, whatever the period of time is, maybe you're going to find yourself being up against a situation where your first instinct is going to be to, bite back, to argue, to just say the first thing that comes into your head. And maybe it's asking you not to do that. Maybe it's asking you to just come away, think about it, you know, think about, right, what is the impact if I do just swing my sword about willy-nilly? And yeah, like, is there a different way that I could approach this? been bothered by too much social media. Maybe it means a social media blackout. Maybe. Oh, hi, Jen. I'm guessing you're nearly done, but I thought I would say hi. Yeah, we're kind of almost done. This is a Brant's deck, and we're just pulling the cards for the spread and the guidebook together. So Robin had the Ace of Swords. What else did we have? Tanya got the Page of Cups for number 3. So the Page of Cups for what to let go of. So if you're being asked to let go of the Page of Cups, it could be about emotional maturity. The Ace of Cups, sorry, not Ace, Page. Page, you said, yeah. Page of Cups, yeah. Page of Cups is great if you're wanting to kind of approach a new relationship with enthusiasm, or approach some sort of new situation with that kind of a naivety and enthusiasm, that novelty. But sometimes that the price that comes with is immaturity. You know, sometimes the Page of Cups, they're not the best at dealing with conflict and difficult situations. Okay, so maybe you're being asked to. So how would you put that as something that you're being asked to let go of? Maybe it's just a certain mindset. Maybe you're just being asked to approach things slightly differently, where you're maybe not so much coming at it with a Page of Cups mindset approach, but more maybe like more mature, like the Queen or the King of Cups. Um, so Tanjay needs to let go of the Knight of Cups. Lots of cups coming up, isn't there? So letting go of the Knight of Cups. Tanjay, the Knight of Cups for me is like can I say this? Yeah, I think I can say it. The Knight of Cups is like the fuck boy of the deck. He's the, you know, he's the player. So maybe you're being asked to let go of the player. You take that as you will. I don't know. Just made me chuckle. Yeah, Knight of Cups is like kind of forming lots of emotional connections. It's like he's well versed in wielding his cup, wielding his tool, the element of water, his emotions. He's very kind of a savvy with his emotions, and he can form relationships really easily. And quite often, the Knight is a character that you'll see having relationships with. Not romantic relationships left, right, and centre. I'm exaggerating when I say that, but you know, you see him, he's like everyone's best friend, But maybe you're being asked to let go of that because don't try and please everyone. Um, maybe that's what it is. That's maybe some of the problems with the Knight of Cups is he is a bit of a people pleaser. And when you try and please everyone, sometimes that means going back on yourself or going against your own, just how you feel in your own heart. I always feel that when you're trying to kind of be a people pleaser, it does sometimes kind of turn around to bite you in the bum. So maybe that's all it is. It's like, don't try and please everyone, don't do it at your own expense. Oh, right. I always see the Page of Cups in their fantasy land in their head. I read it as I need to be more grounded in the real world this weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Tanji says, yep. Oops. Right, okay, guys. Shall we leave it there then? Thank you so much for being here. It's been lovely to see you again. I'm sorry that I missed last week. It's just been that kind of a time where I've had to take some time to myself. But you know, hopefully we're back, back as normal from here on in. As I say, next week I've got Orshi live with me, and we're going to do a roundtable reading. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, I don't think I've got anything else really to announce. Oh, that was the print that I got with my Moon Baby Tarot. I got the lovers, so I think I got the same as Simon and Jen. But anyway, yeah, I'll love yous and leave yous there. Thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing weekend, everyone, and take care. All right, see you later.